I think he's dead now. He had a no. I think he had a great feat of athleticism. He jumped over a 20-foot fence, security fence, and electrocuted himself somehow. It was fucking tragic. How can that happen?
Honest tragic?
Yeah. When I was in business with the Vatican Bank, the day before, the controller of the Vatican Bank, who was my contact when I did business with the Vatican, was going to testify in the House of Commons. Somehow, another great feat of athleticism. He jumped over the security 15 or 18-foot tower bridge.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Tower bridge with his hands tied behind his back and his legs tied together and hung himself. Unfucking believable athleticism. He was going to testify against the Vatican Bank. Well,
God works in mysterious ways.
Exactly, yes, sir. And I mean, the stories you hear about the Vatican Bank are true. And having been their partners, they play hardball, though. The fucking Vatican Bank plays fucking hardball. And it's quite unbelievable. But when that happened, they were going to ask people to testify. Well, nobody testifies against the bank. The one guy that did got hung, killed. And so when they asked me, would I testify against the Vatican Bank, I said, first of all, the Vatican Bank didn't do anything bad to me. I got nothing to say, other than I can tell you stories, but they're third hearsay, so it's not, but so now, well, we don't need you. But it says, we don't even have anybody that's willing to talk about the Vatican Bank. You're willing to talk about it. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say anything. They didn't do anything to me. But they apparently, theoretically, had done some ugly shit. And they, apparently, I have no absolute concrete proof, other than I know that guy that was hanging from the fucking thing. I knew him. But, I mean, when people say they're going to fuck you up, guys, certain areas of the world, they fuck you up. Now, because you're so used to, what do you call them, warriors?
Keyboard warriors.
Keyboard warriors say ugly shit. If you say something ugly to me and I can find you, I have the means, I have the money to find you. Just because you bounce your fucking, off a URL, off of Estonia to fucking South, you can be found. Just like, the CIA and you can be found if somebody's willing to pay enough money. It depends on how much you piss somebody off, whether they're willing to spend that money. And then they find you, and you disappear. I'm not suggesting that you do any of that to my to the warriors on YouTube. And again, watch the new release from Brian QLA Rolls, the $1 Trillion Man. So far we have 96 or 7%. Not that this means shit to me. Approval or likes, or is that the right terminology, Kat?
Yes, there are some likes in this.
Yeah. Likes. We got 90-some% likes and.
That was the 3-hour one, wasn't it? 3 hours.
Yeah, 3 hour. They just published the first hour and a half, or whatever it is. And some say it's the best interview I did with Brian. I don't know if it is or not, but.
The full versions are available on their site.
Pardon?
The 3-hour.
It's available on their site?
I seen it on Thursday. It came out Thursday.
Yeah, okay, well, I mean,
and they started publishing it.
Yeah, and so I know the 3 hour went fast, I mean, but I enjoy being interviewed by Brian. And he's going to be announcing here in the next time frame. I'm going to do a special gig for him later on this year. Not dissimilar that I'm doing for Dan Locke, and not dissimilar that I did for Jason Capital, and not dissimilar that I'm doing for Michael. I call him Pillarfuck. Michael Pillarfuck, the Dutch guy. And I'm doing a TED Talk finally in the Netherlands in about 3 weeks, right? 3.5 weeks. And it's a special TED Talk. It's 3 hours long, as opposed to 22 minutes. I couldn't say good morning in 22 minutes. And so I'm looking forward to that. And then we have a seminar every month until the end of the year. And we have none scheduled for next year. Okay. There's a point, smash them, we know they'll eat their mouth. Okay. Okay. Now we know this, you know, he keep punching, we know that. But if we had fired him for his mouth, we would have lost the war in Europe. So when you think about impeaching the president, keep that in mind. Not everybody that has a big mouth, and with the greatest respect, the president does, as do I, as do a few others, as did General Patton. You know, sometimes in history is what you need is a big mouth to get points across. And I've already predicted he's going to win in a landslide in the next election. And the Democrats are handed it to him on a silver platter. I mean, he's going to crush him. I can't wait to the fucking debate. I just can't wait. And why does the way he talk to people, and he calls, you know, like he calls them little Ted and little midget and this and that, because that's how you think. That's how the average Joe and Jane think. As a Hall of Famer, double Harvard degree guy said about me 20 years ago, Mr. Peña says things we hardly dare, no, Mr. Peña says things we hardly dare to think. But you don't say them for all the conventional reasons. And because I don't care, I'm liberated. I just don't care. And I didn't care when I had no money. Now there's a lesson here. Success leaves clues. If I didn't care what people thought when I had no money, and since I've been training people for 25 plus years that have created billions, up to hundreds of billions, what does that say to you? That you might at least consider that you've been concerned and worried about things that don't matter.
You're not playing to win. You're playing to lose.
Yeah, you're playing not to lose, and you're not playing to win. You're playing not to lose. And in 2.5 years, I'll be eligible for my UK passport. And my intention is to sit for Parliament. And become Prime Minister in my 80s. And I won't be the first American Prime Minister. As I said, Winston Churchill, which everybody forgets about, was a fucking American. Half American. And then will be interesting to see who's around, still around. And I'm going to win in a landslide. I'm making those predictions now. Just as I'm predicting the next president after President Trump of these United States of America, my ex-lawyer, current senator of the great state of Florida where I was born, Rick Scott. You heard it here first. I know you don't like it, Rick, Senator. But one of the greatest bodacious goals, and we'll talk about goals in a couple of days, was President Obama. I don't like President Obama. But when he said, when he was a 19, 20-year-old fucking dopehead, that he was going to be the first black president of the United States, that's a pretty big fucking goal for him to have made that 30 plus years ago. And those are the kind of goals that you have to have. And yet those are the kind of goals that you've refrained from having because your parents don't want you to be hurt, disappointed. So they tell you, or they've led you to believe by example, to not strive to be the very best that you can be. And what QLA is, and the definition of a high-performance person, is to always do what he says and always say what you do, and to be all you can be every single day. And it's not easy. It's very, very hard. And until you build up the habits, it will be hard. And, you know, I've been doing it almost 50 years now, and so, no, actually more than 50 years now. I'm losing track of time. But I mean, all the high performance people I've had the privilege of being around are the same. They all talk shit. They don't talk shit publicly because they're worried about their legacy. I don't give a fuck about my legacy. Part of my legacy is that I talk shit. But they worry about because, and now it's, virtually everything I've said is come to fruition. It's, has it been a self-fulfilling prophecy in some regards? Yes. Has my talking shit got me across the goal line sometimes? Yes. Okay? Absolutely. There's no question about that. Have the kids that I have trained, i.e. the young man that's sitting in the front row, he sounds more confident than he did 3 years ago. Of course, he's done shit now. Okay? And as he told off camera earlier, when he said that, you got to sound enthusiastic. You got to, otherwise, if you're just sitting there shaking shit in your pants, nobody's going to believe anything you have to say. Or, more importantly, not that nobody will believe, only the wrong kind of people will believe. The kind of people you don't want to be associated with. The kind of people you probably are associated with now, i.e. your families. Your families. We've had mothers, sons, grandfathers, granddaughters, the whole gamut. And when the grandfather turns to the daughter and said, their answer for being shitty parents is, I did the best I knew how, which we've all heard, or you don't know what you don't know. Okay? And then the father tells the daughter that. And so then the daughter looks at the son or the grandson or the granddaughter and says the same shit. We did the best we knew how, or you don't know what you don't know. Well, those answers aren't worth a shit, are they? They're not. But that's what we've used as our banners. I tell people, you want to save the world? Fine. And when I go to the TED Talk, by the way, it's a global warming, save the planet TED Talk, the convention there, is you change the lives of 1 billion people, you'll become a billionaire and you take that money to go save the world. That's what I tell people. They want to save the world. I'm not too interested in saving the world. Although I've produced a lot of kids to the seminar in 25 years that want to fucking save the world. I'm not interested in that. But one of my leading mentees who came up was the CEO of NEOM, which is a save the world, 21st century city of the future. He's a save the world guy, came out of my stable. He believes that the world's worth saving. I don't. So I produced a lot of those kids that want to save the world. So in that regard, Brian Rose is right. I am saving the world through my offspring, so to speak, my financial offspring, not through my own efforts. And some people will say because Sally and I are so handcuffed to the Catholic Church and charities, whether the Catholic Church is saving the world is a whole other argument. Vatican aside, is a whole other argument whether they're saving the world from anything. But so I have a lot of offspring, a lot of financial progenies that are out saving the world. But I'm doing it for selfish reasons. And when we talk about the next couple of days that you need to be more selfish, but nobody loves Dan more than Dan. And I can't say that the same for you as a group, not just you, but anybody that's come through the seminar, because of all the reasons that we've come up with. And as we go through the steps and as we go through the various other interviewing processes that we have, you're going to leave here with the processes, the systems, the procedures, the templates, etc., to do whatever you want to do, vis-a-vis raising money with little or none of your own money involved. Because the two biggest levers in life you have is OPM, other people's money, and other people. And when you learn how to delegate, I mean, like the Warren Buffetts and the Bill Gates of this world, and myself, I mean, is really where you have the power. And now, according to guys like Brian and Dan, Locke, etc., I've influenced millions of people, so I have a lot of levers that are working. But if you're one of the beneficiaries of being one of those levers and you get rich doing it, then I mean, then it's up to you to spread whatever word you want to spread. But again, that's up to you. Tonight, where do we have dinner tonight? Castle again, okay. And you'll have. Thank you for picking that up. Tonight, the only homework other than the movies you have is what are you afraid of? What would you have changed if you weren't afraid? Some of you, talked about being bullied as a kid. I didn't even think about whether it was internet bullying. I didn't even. Maybe that's what you were talking about. I didn't even think of that. But I thought about being bullied on a schoolyard. But either way, you've been bullied. If you hadn't been bullied, what would you have done? Where would you have gone? One or at least one of you had to go to another school because they were being bullied. Again, I can't relate to that, but I know it happens, and I know we've got Facebook bullying, amongst other things. Who's my 5:30? 6? 6:30? Okay. So you have that homework, and then the movies you're going to see tonight. And then tomorrow afternoon is boxing, for those of you that are going to participate. Again, it's not mandatory. It's up to you. We will go after our final break in the afternoon to go box. And yeah, you can bring your kit. No. Well, it depends where you're staying. If you're staying at one of the cottages, that's a long ways to go. For you people that are fit, you 6% body fat and six-packers. Actually, you can have an 8-pack. For those of you, there is actually 8 muscles in there, not 6. Occasionally, you see an 8-pack, but normally you see a 6-pack. The closest I've ever been to any kind of pack was when I got down to. When I was running in the Boston Marathon 40 plus years ago, and I still weigh 206 pounds. Which is 206 pounds is skinny for me, and I could just kind of see the outlines, but not because I was doing 6-pack, just because all the body fat had left me. Not all, but a lot of the body fat had left me. But that's the closest I got. You could see maybe a 2-pack. Any questions from anybody?
Well, what time is
dinner's 7? What time's dinner? 7? No.
It should be at 7.
7. 7 in the castle, dressed. Tomorrow night we eat in the pavilion, I think. Okay, YouTube, good night. Thank you.